Today, we are going to try 5 different rosés from around the world. And we're gonna rate them from 1 to 5. 5 being the fruitiest, 1 being a softer fruit, a little less fruity.
And remember, fruity doesn't equal sweet. Not all rosés are sweet. A lot of people think that, not true. This wine is Cune Cava Brut Rosé from the Catalan province of Penedès in Spain. So rosé can be made in basically 3 different methods, but sparkling rosé can actually be blended with red and white juice. It's the only time that that's allowed.
You're not picking up any overpowering fruit flavors here. It's very mellow, really easy to drink. Definitely not sweet. It's very dry to my palate.
Yeah, one of the biggest differences in sparkling wines with rosé versus white is the rosés tend to be a lot heavier. Not heavy like, ooh, it's just big, but heavy like that fruit is there. It's not as ethereal as, say, a white sparkling wine would be.
I would put it a 2 out of 5 on the fruitness scale.
On the fruitness scale, I would say, on the nose, I'm pretty comfortable saying 3 fruits. On the palate, it's pretty persistent, it's elegant, it's powerful. It's weighty. I'm a 2.5 fruiter. This is Domaine Vetriccie and it comes from Corsica. So it's technically French, but it's an island out in the Mediterranean. Really, really high acidity, super good food wine here. One of the other ways that rosé is made is they actually grow fruit specifically for rosé. So what they're doing is they're harvesting it a little bit early so you can retain a ton of acidity. The skin is not completely as thick and heavy as it would be when you make red wine. You harvest the fruit, you crush it, you let it sit for a little bit to bleed some of this color into it, and that's how rosés like this are made. To me, I get really underripe strawberry, like white strawberry, a lot of white fruits.
You're definitely getting that with this wine too. It keeps you wanting to have another sip of it. Like you keep going back because it's so good and it's definitely a great brunch wine.
This is literally your rosé all day.
Yeah. This is one that I would serve with a charcuterie board too.
Summer salad, soft cheeses, things like that, absolutely.
On a scale from 1 to 5, I would give this like a 3.5, 4.
I would say, yeah, there's a ton of fruit, but they're really, really, really delicate. So I'm gonna actually say that the fruits are a little bit lower. I'm gonna go 1.5 fruits.
Oh wow, we're really opposite on that then.
This wine is Chateau Trians, organic. But this comes from Provence, and this is where a majority of the rosé that you're gonna find is coming from. This is a place where they grow these grapes specifically to make rosé.
So if you're looking for like that classic rosé, this is the one you probably wanna go for.
For sure.
Wow, you're really picking up the strawberry, like the classic strawberry from the rosé.
This is a big rosé.
That's very acidic. That's like what I would expect from a rosé right there. I'm not getting overpowering fruit flavors from it.
Wines like this are cool because you can use them with some heavier foods. Like I would love this with pork, but again, that same old summer salad, seafood. If it's got a shell, it's gonna go with this.
That sounds like a perfect pairing. I would definitely drink this with oysters. And I would give this on the fruity scale a 2 to 3. I don't think it's as fruity as the last one. It's just very, very soft.
I am gonna agree with you and go in the 2-ish, 2 1/3.
Yeah.
There is certainly fruit, way more in the nose than on the palate. L'Orange de Carignan, which is the name of this rosé, actually comes from Bordeaux, which is not a traditional rosé area, but certainly one that works.
All right, so I know that you mentioned the 2 ways to make rosé, and there's a third. So can you explain that a little bit to us?
So this is not made that way. I'm gonna give you the short version. It's called saignée, and it's basically you make red wine, and as the fruit is in the tank and it's bleeding that color in, you drain some of that juice out and you vinify that on its own. So you make wine with the liquid you pulled out, concentrating this and roséing that.
Ooh. So it definitely has an interesting smell to it. It's really earthy, I would say. And I know you said don't worry about the smell because it's not going to affect the taste.
Yeah, this is very much a red wine drinker's rosé.
It definitely doesn't drink like the last few rosés that we've tried. It's more full-bodied, I would say.
It has so much of that large, unctuous, powerful fruit concentration and density, but then again, it's dancing on the palate. It's super approachable and it's light.
Yeah, if you're looking for an interesting rosé to serve that's a little bit different from what you would normally serve, this is your go-to. This is one that's going to wow your guests.
I would think this with chicken and almost every possible conceivable cooking method would be excellent.
Yeah, and on the scale of fruity, I think I'm just gonna go mid here. It's not overly fruity, it's not underly fruity.
Yeah, the nose is fruitier than the palate. This is gonna be a 1 and 9/16. This is made by the family Giorgi, which makes a bunch of really, really, really cool wines from the north of Italy.
Wow. You can definitely pick up the sweetness when you smell it right away. And you do get that effervescence. It is really sweet, but it's easy to drink. If you are a fan of sweet wines and you're looking for a rosé to try, out of all 5, this would be your go-to.
I would probably drink this later on in my evening, certainly paired with a dessert. When you're pairing sweet wines, you want to have the wine a little bit sweeter than the dessert.
I would probably give it a 2 just because of the sweetness.
Just because you went low, I'm going high. I'm gonna give this a 5 on the fruity scale.
Oh man, we are not on the same page in this book.
Well, that's kind of the beautiful thing is all palates are different. There's no right or wrong.
I was so surprised by the fruitiness of these wines, honestly. I know that we were not on the same page at all, but I know you said that's all from preference.
For sure, yeah, everyone's palate's different, everyone's perception of fruit levels are different.
Yeah, and if you want to open a few bottles with your friends, you can even put on this taste test with them. You can find all of these at your local ABC Fine Wine and Spirits or online at abcfws.com. Cheers!